guys, so this is my library. Today I am going to be working on organizing this room. I'm really excited because since I've lived alone, I've never had a room for all my books. I've never had a library, I've never had an office. So I'm very excited to decorate this room and put it together. So as you can see, I have all of my books lined up against the wall. They're all just lined up everywhere. And they are completely not organized. Most of the books over there, however, are ones that I've read, and then the ones along this wall that I'm standing at are my unread books. I really do not know yet how I want to organize my bookshelves. Since I have had my book collection, I've kind of organized my books in almost every way possible. I've done by genre, I've done alphabetical, I've done by height, I've done dividing adult books and young adult books, I've done rainbow, I have split up the books that I've read versus my TBR books. That is kind of the most recent way that I've organized my books, but beyond that, there wasn't much organization. I think that aesthetically, my favorite organization is rainbow. I think it looks the best. However, logistically, it is a nightmare. Trying to find books was so difficult when I had them as rainbow, even though it looked great. And I did really like it for the time because when my books were rainbow, it was kind of the centerpiece of my apartment. So to have it be more aesthetic than functional made more sense at the time, but now that they're all in this room, I don't really need to worry about that. For the past couple years, I've always split up my TBR books from my read books, and again, that made sense to me for a while because of how my bookshelves are. I have 4 bookshelves, but 3 of them, these 3 right here, are the same shelf. All my shelves are from IKEA. These I got like 10 years ago. They're not even actually bookshelves, they're media shelves, which is why they are narrower and deeper. I could fit like 3 layers of books on each shelf, and they're also discontinued, so I can't buy any more of these shelves. So now I have this shelf, which they currently still have at IKEA. I do want to get more of these. So this shelf is not only taller, but it is also wider and narrower. So since I've had these, I've always split them up. I've always had these 3 shelves together and then that one somewhere else. So since they've always been in different places, it was very easy for me to divide up my TBR books from my read books. But now that I'm having them all together, sort of like in the corner of the room, I think I'm just gonna put all of the books together and not really divide them based on what I've read and what's on my TBR, which leaves a lot more room for me to organize them in a different way. I do have this extra space right here where eventually I maybe wanna get another bookshelf, but I'm not completely sure. You might notice I already have some books on the shelf. These are not organized at all. I literally threw them up there as a background for filming some videos. So these need to be taken off and organized. So the first step in the organizing process is that I actually need to go through and organize all of my books on the floor. I think that I'm going to organize them by genre, and then within that I might do a little bit of like subgenre organizing, but I definitely want to do that on the floor first before I put them up on the bookshelves so I can kind of map out where I want everything to go. So let's go ahead and do that. This is taking me so much longer than I was thinking it was going to. I've basically been organizing books since like 8 o'clock this morning. It's taking me so long because they're already in absolutely no organization. Like other times that I've reorganized my bookshelves, they were already sort of organized in some way, but they're literally like not organized at all. So it's been taking me a while. I think at the stage that I'm at, I've gotten all of the biggest genres out. So I've taken out romance and fantasy, sci-fi, and then horrors and thrillers, and everything that's left not in piles are just like random genres that I'm not 100% sure about yet, but I feel like at this stage this is the best that I'm gonna get with the floor organizing because I'm running out of floor space and it's going to start turning chaotic in here. So I think that I'm going to start putting the books on the shelves. I'm going to start with romance because those are the books that I love the most, and I want to make sure they have a really great spot on my bookshelves, and then I'll kind of work off from there. So I'll just kind of show you all the different piles I have. Like, all of that pretty much is fantasy, that is sci-fi, that is horrors and thrillers, and all this is kind of unorganized. And then these 3 piles are romances, as well as these 2 stacks. All of those over there are sci-fi. Pretty much everything on this wall is fantasy, but there's some extra stuff mixed in there. So I'm gonna start with these romance piles that I've got and put those on the shelf. So I want to take a moment to mention the sponsor for today's video, which is Audible. At Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks ranging from new releases to bestsellers, original entertainment from top celebrity creators, and thousands of popular and bingeable podcasts. Audible members get 1 credit every month, good for any titles in their premium selection. And those titles are yours to keep in your Audible library forever. You will get full access to their popular Plus catalog, which is filled with thousands and thousands of audiobooks and original entertainment, including ad-free versions of your favorite shows and exclusive series. And all of that is included in your membership, so you don't have to use credits for the Plus catalog. And with an Audible membership, you can download your titles and listen to them anywhere. The Audible app is free and can be downloaded on smartphones and tablets, and you can listen across devices without losing your spot. One of my recent favorite audiobooks that I've listened to on Audible is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, which is a super addictive thriller about a professor at a university who is secretly a serial killer. This audiobook had so many plot twists, and I was always on the edge of my seat when listening to it, and I loved both of the narrators. They really brought their characters to life. I highly recommend checking out the audiobook for this. So you can go to audible.com/Riley Marie or text Riley Marie to 500-500 to start exploring Audible with a free 30-day trial now. And a big thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video. I wonder if you guys can see, because I'm wearing a dress, but I'm also wearing lounge pants underneath, so nobody comment on it. So I think that this bookcase is where I'm going to put all my romance books, so I'm just gonna take everything off that's not romance. Also, I found this cool picture frame at Goodwill. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do with it, but I like the vibes. So this romance bookcase is completely organized, and I think it's looking really good. This side is causing me problems. So I've put the books up based on genre, but they're not like individually organized. I need to go in and do that. But I still have, you can see all the piles, I still have a bunch of books that need to go up there, and I can't figure out how to fit them. So I'm definitely going to need to buy at least 1 more bookshelf to go in this area. So I'm just gonna try to organize what I have in here and see how much I can get to fit. And I'm probably gonna have to leave some books out until I can go buy a new bookshelf. This whole wall over here are books that I'm considering unhauling. One, because of space. I don't have space for all of these, so I just put them over here. I need to fully go through like individually and decide, so maybe I can do like a video of me going through these if y'all would be interested in that. So I'm just going to continue working on getting all of this organized and trying to fit in the rest of these piles. Okay, I don't know how I did it, but I somehow managed to get like 99% of my books onto the shelf. So I'll just give you guys like a quick overview because I am planning on doing a more in-depth tour of the bookshelves at some point. But up there at the top, I put almost all of my book of the month books, mainly because they didn't fit anywhere else, but I kind of like how they look up there. This whole top row is sci-fi, and I tried to organize it in subgenres. So right here we have all of my Star Wars books, then it goes into some time travel and like alternate universe things, then a lot of like space opera, spaceship travel books, then we have some sci-fi horror books, and then here we come into superhero sci-fi, some alternate history sci-fi, and then this little section is just random sci-fi. And then directly under that we have my horror and thriller shelf. So this whole bookshelf right here are thrillers, and then it moves into horror, which aren't really organized by subgenre because most of these horror books are just kind of like bizarre horror. But yeah, I kind of like how my sci-fi and horror shelves go across there. So then directly under that I have these two bookshelves right here are historical books, and I tried to organize them in order of like time period. I'm gonna have to go and research some of these just to like double check what time period they're from. And then this little section right here are the majority of my post-apocalyptic books. Some of the other ones fit into other genres, but I kind of like having this little post-apocalyptic section. These three shelves are the majority of my young adult books, which really aren't that organized. They're pretty much all like fantasy books. This shelf is kind of like my catch-all shelf. This was kind of where some like overflow young adult books went. And then from like here over are kind of like speculative books that I don't really know where they fit in. And then these bottom two shelves and then these four are all of my adult fantasy books, and they're primarily organized by size and by author. At some point I might go in and organize these more based on like fantasy subgenres, but for now I'm kind of digging how it looks. And then here is my whole romance shelf. So this bottom section are fantasy and paranormal romances. Then the next one, this half are dark romances, and then this half are like forbidden or taboo. And then this shelf is just the rest of my indie romances. So these three shelves down here are all indie romances. And then this whole shelf are like traditionally published, kind of lighter rom-com type of romances. And then the top are my romance hardcovers and then romance books that I really kind of couldn't fit anywhere else. And then I saved this middle shelf for my all-time favorite books. And then I kind of decorated it. This is a picture of me as a baby with my uncle. And then up here are my nonfiction and my classics. Now it's time to decorate the rest of this room, bring my furniture in here, and kind of style it. So here is the final room. got this nice little lounge area. And like I said, eventually in that empty space, I'm gonna put another bookshelf. And then I have all of the bookshelves. And then eventually on this wall, I'm going to put my desk. Currently, my desk is in the closet because it just didn't fit anywhere else. So eventually I'm gonna pull this out with my desk chair and put it here. Do you like it, Loki? He seems into it. It gets the Loki seal of approval. So that is going to be my finished bookshelf organization. I hope you guys liked this video and thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.